to the neighborhood where it feels like your childhood. Your friendly neighborhood vibe gives it her all, bringing you the local haul. All kinds of comics, classic and new, Marvel, DC, and indies too. Readers and creators in unity, welcome to our community.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Nerdy Neighborhood, and welcome back to your Friendly Neighborhood comic show. I am your host, Lauren, your Friendly Neighborhood Bi, and this is our surprise first Cooking with Creatives live episode. It is Saturday, February 4th, and I am super duper excited to have part of this creative team for this new project on with us. It's a phenomenal book. These are phenomenal creators, and I know you guys are probably gonna have some questions. So if you are in the live chat joining us when this is airing live, feel free to send any questions, comments in the chat, and we'll get to them as soon as we can. But otherwise, let's go ahead and bring on the creative team for a new book coming out. I'm going to let them introduce themselves today because I feel like I haven't done live in a while. So we got this great, amazing team here. Hello. Can you guys take a second to introduce yourselves and what part you played in the project of Aetheris? Did I say that right?
Aetheris.
See, I'm a white American. I'm so sorry.
No,
everybody.
it's me and my dumb names. I keep coming up with the most elaborate names for my comics. I should just stick to like the formula.
Break the formula. That's what works for you.
I'm here to break the mold. All right. My name is ANAS ABDULHAK. I'm a writer of Aetheris, and it's our new book that's coming out next month. And you might know me from my previous works like Eleuthermania and Objects in the Mirror, two self-published projects of mine. And this is my first published comic book with SourcePoint, and I'm extremely excited. It's my first time in previews, first time on comic book shelves. It's surreal. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, welcome back. Yes, you were on the show before. You have been an active neighbor for quite a while now, so it's always good to see you again. And we got somebody new down here. This very like you look so peaceful and put together, Mr. Dennis. Like I would love your energy.
Wow, I do. Well, I'm Dennis MENHEERE. I'm a Dutch illustrator. I'm the artist on Aetheris cover and sequential. You might not know me because why would you? This is my first comic book, and we're very lucky to be published by SourcePoint Press, and I'm very lucky to work with ANAS because he's the best in the world.
Oh.
And the compliments commence.
Well, thank you guys so much, both of you, for being on here. I know we wanted to try to get the editor on the book here, Michelle. And I know, unfortunately, due to, it's totally my fault, by the way, schedule issues on my end, she couldn't make it. So huge shout out to Michelle. I'm sure we'll talk about more with her editing process throughout the video, but I wanted to start off because I do miss her presence here. But yeah, you know, we have talked about Objects in the Mirror before, you know, Eleuthermania, these past projects, and this seems to, you know, be similar to those projects in some ways, but different in other ways. What kind of is similar that you've taken from your other projects in the past, and what's, you know, different that you're trying to do in this project?
I'd say the poetry is, you know, if you like my flavor of poetry, you'll enjoy Aetheris for sure. But what I've done here is poetry isn't really what's leading the story. It's part of the narrative. And there's also a lot of prose and monologuing from Valerie, the main character, as she navigates her way through this realm where souls go when they don't belong anywhere else in the afterlife. So it's just her and this Cheshire cat looking figure who's her tormentor slash, you know, companion on this journey. You know, I think what we tried to do was really, it's a lot less abstract than my previous works as well. So it's a lot more linear in storytelling, and the narrative is clear. You'll be able to like see what's going on without much confusion. But there is a lot of room for interpretation and a lot of space for the reader to apply the story to themselves and see themselves reflected in its pages.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I think that is what makes, you know, a project from you as a writer, is the fact that there is still room for interpretation. Yeah. So some things are more abstract and other things are more linear, but no matter what, there's that space for, you know, that growth and that variation, which I personally really love as a reader of all your past works. And I just gotta say, like, everything you just said fits completely with this cover. And I'm sorry, Dennis, I will put it up here for a second and take it away so we can see you again. Because wow, this cover is just amazing. Dennis, did you do the cover as well?
Yeah, I did.
So do you sleep? Because you did the cover, you did the interiors, and you also, you know, the lines and such, but you also did the coloring, which, like, how?
Yeah.
How are you human?
I'm a human. I don't sleep a lot, but I do sleep. We took some time to make this book. This has been in the works for quite a while. So when we started this book, I still had a day job actually. So I don't anymore. This is my day job now. But so I had to sleep and then do it in the after hours. But yeah, I really enjoy the entire process of making a comic book, which totally includes the cover. I think I demanded to do the cover actually.
Yeah, that was the condition in the very first
Which
email.
I still do. You know, when I run into projects, I'm like, hey, can I do the cover? Because I just want them on my shelf, you know. And yeah, coloring is also I don't really see my work like as a separate thing. The line work and the coloring, I feel it's supposed to, you know, be like a one thing, and especially for this book because the colors are the mood, and the mood is everything in this book. So I really wanted to do the coloring myself.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense, and it shows. So you guys are actually, speaking of first, you know, first in previews. Also, you know, you're on, how do you say the site's name? AIPT. Do you just say APT?
Yeah.
Like,
I just say AIPT. I don't know what it stands for.
I don't know either. Like, does it stand for anything, or are they just
I tried to look it
there?
up literally like yesterday, and I could not find the result. I'm just
Me too.
Well, we'll never know. But here, apps, you get, you know, some promo here. Congratulations. This is actually, I want to start this page because so many of the preview pages that were released, they have a similar color scheme with the purples and stuff, which I do want to show because they're mind blowing, and purple's my favorite color, so I'm a whore for purple. But this page in particular has so much of the greens, and obviously I know you guys don't want to spoil the story. But what was kind of the process with, you know, the colors and the palettes, and how similar they could be each page, and when you were going to change it up a bit?
Well, we talked about that quite a bit, right? Because we talked about what colors would convey the moods best. Also, ANAS had a color palette in mind, sort of. So did I, but we really wanted to like have the colors transition into one another, starting off with this big, shocking green, like almost Ghostbusters green, you can call it, and you let it be in your face, and then have it dampened and claustrophobic, and end up with the bright yellows, the bright pinks and the purples. In the end, the color was the overall tone of color was something we discussed continually, actually.
Yeah. For me, it was like I really wanted to open, and like this is the opening page. Spoiler alert. This is the emergence and the rebirth of Valerie in the realm of Etheris. So she's emerging from this egg. There's like slime. She's dripping with slime, and we see the creature hovering behind her. And I really wanted it to represent rebirth, you know. And green is the color of life, but it's kind of corrupted in a way. It's rotten. It's, you know, it's icky. And I felt like that was just the perfect color that Dennis went with to just like represent all of that as she is emerging from the egg.
Yeah, and I actually, that makes so much sense to me, because looking, you know, you got the green, but you've also got some blues in there. Blue can be another color of life, nature, things like that. But then also kind of on the outside around it, there's like this maroon kind of red that I feel like really aids and what you're saying about the, like, there's still some corruption there. Something's not quite right. Something's not normal.
And I when I first saw this page, this was like basically the first page that I got to see from Dennis's work when we started working together. I was blown away. I was like, this is the right fit for the project. I mean, I knew it from the get-go, but seeing this page is just blows my mind, honestly. It's perfect for the opening.
I mean, every single page of this has already blown my mind. Like, I'm going to be at my shop the day of being like, where's my copy? That's the first book I want to see out of my pull box. Like, if it's not there, I'm going to be very upset because I'm so excited for you guys. I did want to ask a little bit more about the poetry because, we already joked about, Dennis is like, I have to do the cover. That's the deal breaker for me. It almost seems like, in a good way, poetry is like a deal breaker for you. Like, if you can't throw your poetry in there, then what's the point?
I mean, I think this is going to be the last project for a while that I incorporate my poetry into. I feel like throughout the last 3 projects, I've said my piece. I've had the most creative liberty in these projects to just say what I want, and I think I did that because I felt like there was no fear. I was just like, I'm doing this for me. But with future projects that I feel like I need them to be a little bit more accessible, and poetry is such a niche genre with such a limited, amount of people who enjoy it. I'm going to have to rely more on dialogue and narration, more regular, basically, like a comic book approach. So for this one, I really want to go out with a bang. It's some of my favorite poems that I've written. It's some of the most personal ones that I've ever written, and they're all really gut wrenching. Like, they're really, really like if you thought Objects in the Mirror and Luthramania were tough to read, oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
You and Fellhound are always out here collecting all our tears in this nerdy neighborhood. It's like
Dead Girl Winter.
Pay up taxes.
We keep calling it. It's Dead Girl Winter, and we love you, Etheris. Same universe.
That would be amazing. Put this universe with like the Rowverse or something. You guys should do a crossover. I think that'd be epic. I
think there might be a fan art crossover in the works.
Yes, I knew it. That's amazing. I absolutely love that. And yeah, this is one of the pages where we see a lot more of the purples and the light reds and the blues in there. What kind of made you guys go for this color palette versus like a black and white or just darker, more subdued colors, I guess?
Well, these are kind of subdued, in my opinion. It really they need to feel a bit oppressive and daunting. I mean, it's a lot of it's all purple but different hues, if you will. But they're not hot pinks, because hot pink is something that will be in there as well. They're not in the preview pages, but there's going to be some hot pink. But this is purple 1, if you will, but this is the dangerous, claustrophobic purple, I think, is what I'm in for, at least.
And I think it's very ethereal. Like, purple is such a royal color, and it just gives off this like vibe of like, elevated, and it gives off a nice vibe for the realm, for Etheris. Just the purples, and she's just entering this realm. This is in the few beginning of the chapters in the story, and she's just like exploring. She's slowly approaching. She's trying to understand her surroundings and her environment. So I think it was a perfect color for us to like transition from the green into. And the future, as the journey gets more daunting and more surreal, the colors will also reflect that. Like, color really, as Dennis said, plays a heavy role in the storytelling here, and it is a medium as much as the line art and as much as the words are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was one question I was going to ask. So that's good to hear that transition. And I know it's hard to see on here. I can try to zoom in, but I did want to compliment the lettering. I guess I'll go to this page. Yes, the lettering. Oh my gosh. Like, the fact you got DC is amazing, because DC is just top shelf lettering.
And I really wanted to go top shelf for this one. And I did. Like, with both Dennis, with Michelle, and DC, it's an A-list team. And then there's, me.
Yeah. No. See, you and Dennis both can't do this. You are both A-listers. None of this. Why would you know me? I mean, because especially because, you know, so you guys are picked up by SourcePoint Press, which is amazing. I think they're honestly one of the biggest they're more than up and coming. They've been around for a little bit, but they're quickly rising. I think still as an indie publisher. I really love what they do. They're not afraid to take risks on creative projects like this one, where I think other publishers are like, that's too risky. That's not a generic enough. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited. And the fact that you got picked up by them, I think is just, you know, showing that, yes, you guys are A-listers, even if not every single person in the world knows it yet, you are. And this page here, I know before we started, I was talking with Dennis a bit. This page here, I might put up and cover faces for a second so everybody can see the whole thing, but it is absolutely gorgeous. There we go. There's the whole page. It is this. I love this page, and I don't feel like I have the artistic words to properly describe what it does, but it's so powerful. Like, so I have no clue what's happening here, obviously, because I have not read the issue. But you know, and if you guys can share at all, like, what did you want this page to make us as readers feel like?
I'll go. Okay. So basically, in Etheris, every few pages of the narrative, the story, we sprinkled in some splash pages with poems, and this is one of them. These splash pages are meant to give kind of like a background to Valerie's journey and how she ended up here, and the poems are supposed to really tell you her state of mind and why she believes she deserves to be an Etheris. And so from the trauma that she experienced, the abuse, there's so many different things that I tried to stay vague with, but they're general in a way. But you can pick up from this page alone that there is substance abuse, alcoholism involved in some sort of way. And so we wanted to like have this kind of sinister looking hand with like these really sharp claws grasping a crystal glass, which is mentioned in the poem. And she's in there, she's trapped, it's claustrophobic. The pinks are there, they're really harsh colors. And of course, there's the creature lurking as usual. When it comes to the composition and the art of it, Dennis was in charge of that. He gave me 2 different variations. And we felt like the white background with this kind of composition was the most powerful and striking visually. And the poem just laid on perfectly on top of it.
Yeah, it just blows my mind how good this page is. And now that you mentioned the white background, I completely agree in terms of giving that juxtaposition. Rather, if you had done a very darker background, it wouldn't stand out as much and not jump. Yeah. But I will tell you personally, when I see this page, I love it, but it also like makes my chest clench up, which is, I think, exactly what you just said is intended, right? That claustrophobic feeling that, this is something's getting you, that sinister feeling, like, so you fully accomplished it. In my terms, you fully accomplished it. Dennis, do you feel like, do you agree that, this was the best final choice to make with this page?
Absolutely. We discussed that a little bit. I had 2 versions. The first one was a bit more, shall we say, traditional, with like a scene with a person standing there with the glass, and Val sitting there in front of her not being in the glass. And I kind of wanted to do those sort of 70s horror movie poster type things that are very graphic and very bold in coloring, and have their, I wouldn't say symbolism, but her being in the glass, I felt that was a pretty solid thing. And then first I had the creature on top of like a panel border and just sitting there like an old book. But then we came up with this idea, and have the creature swirl across the hand, so you're not really sure what is going on, what realm this is. Is this a memory? Is this in Etheris? You don't really know. It has a sort of mystery to it, and also it's really in your face. So this we really thought this was the best choice to go with.
Yeah, I think the mystery adds to it too, right? Because like, I think even if it was clear that, this is an Etheris or what have you, it would still be powerful. But I think, that mystery, because it creates that uncertainty, which can add to like that claustrophobic feeling and stuff. I think it's absolutely brilliant how you guys came up with this page. And honestly, it gives me like, more horror Alice in Wonderland vibes. Like,
that was that was one of my main inspirations for Etheris, for like the world building.
yeah?
Like I'm obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. I grew up reading it. I love the
Mhm.
Tim Burton movies, and so when crafting like a completely different realm, which is like supposed to be fantastical, I was like, I need to bring elements into it, and that's where the creature came into play. You know, you
Mhm.
always need kind of a narrative figure or narrative driving piece forward. And I felt like the creature was a perfect homage to Alice in Wonderland. We made him a little bit, spooky. We gave him like antlers and this scaly skin that's kind of like, reptilian in nature. And he's just really there to like taunt Valerie and kind of force her to confront her background, her past, and to basically so she can come to terms with her death.
Yeah. That's terrifying too. Like, imagine having to come to terms with your death. Like,
Right?
and I feel like it's interesting. I feel like death and the afterlife after death. I've seen personally as a reader, I feel like it's become a trend in comics actually.
It does.
Like I know there's this one indie comic called Prolong that I love and it made me cry like 3 times. So they got to collect my tears for that one. And then you had like the main deaths of Layla Starr, which was from the point of view of Death Herself by Ram V. Brilliant story. What you guys think about that? If you guys even have noticed that trend as well, what you guys think of a possible trend of death and the afterlife in comics?
I think it's a topic that's really on our minds a lot lately, like with everything going on with COVID, with how the political discomfort of everything that's going on. Death is all around us, and it's something that we have to reconcile with. So I think that's why a lot of creatives are seeking outlets to just release that anxiety in a cathartic way through art. And why so many stories about death are coming up right now. It's very sad, but it is, it's spawning great stories. So win-win for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Dennis, did you have any thoughts on that theme in comics lately, possibly?
Sorry, the cat bit me in my foot. So.
Oh no! The cat's trying to get a head start, huh?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the trend, I don't know. Ever since I've been reading comics, it's kind of always been there. The afterlife and death in books. It's just the way people explore it kind of differs. Sometimes it's like this thing where which spawns soldiers and armies, and sometimes it's a very cathartic thing, and sometimes it's just about people trying to get in touch with their emotions and things they've been going through. I don't know if it's a trend per se, but maybe I'm just behind on things. I read comics from the 70s and the 80s because I'm an old guy, so I don't know.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. You should read what you enjoy. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy because I think depending on what you read, people might see different themes. So if I read a lot of stuff that does have those themes, there's a gazillion other comics that have completely different themes.
Yeah.
So I think it's hard to even identify the theme sometimes. I did want to say hi to Stephen Hayner in the chat. He says, welcome to the neighborhood and
Hi,
good
Steven.
afternoon.
Hello.
Stephen
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, Steven's another one of the cool cats that's in the Discord. So if anybody watching is like, these people seem kind of cool, except me, but everybody else is great. If you guys want to chat with the creators and stuff, I know a lot of the creators and all of our neighbors are in the Discord, so you can pop there and the link, that's in the description of the video. I know again at the beginning, I shouted out Michelle as your editor. What was it like having her as an editor? Because I know so often we talk about the letterers and the writers and the artists working together, but the editor is such an important piece, I feel like.
First of all, I this is the first time I have ever worked with an editor. I actually did work with Saif Sadari on Objects of the Mirror, but that was basically mostly on the poetry side of the book, while the paneling and the structure of the storytelling was I did it by myself, because Saif did not really have the he's more of a poet rather than a comic book writer, so the experience was just not there. When Michelle joined the project, we had already been starting the work on the book for quite some time. I met Michelle. We really connected on a very deep level, like creatively and personally as well. We shared like a lot of same things in our backgrounds. And I told her about Etheris, and she really connected with the story. So I thought it was perfect to bring her on board because I knew she would do it justice, and I really needed someone to help me polish my writing and just make it a lot more punchy. And she did a stellar job. Like, I knew that she was going to be amazing at it because she basically ran the Color of Always and the Swat Cow, and she did beautiful work on those. I never expected the experience to be so smooth working with Michelle. She really didn't want to touch the poems. She felt like that was my voice, and she didn't want to stifle it or add her voice into it at all. What she did was, which I really appreciated. What she did was she brought a really good sense of like understanding of the medium to the prose that we were writing, and we trimmed it down a lot. We made it a lot more punchy. Less words for more impact, and which is something that I needed because I tend to be an overwriter. Like I write way more than I should. And I felt like that was much needed. It made the pages stand out a lot better. The art, is more impactful because you get to really gawk at it and really take it all in. And there's just like words sprinkled in there for extra effect. Because if you look at the book completely unlettered, the art speaks for itself. Like the story can be understood completely from a visual standpoint. So we just needed to like elevate that rather than take away from it. And I feel like we did a really good job at that. So I appreciate you, Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. And I wish you were here with us.
Yeah, I think it takes a lot sometimes to not only, recognize that, hey, I'm not a terrible writer, but I'm still a writer that can use assistance, right? And it's okay for me to say, let me have, see if I can get somebody to help polish this up and help me be better. So I think that's super humble of you. It sounds like you saw out, you saw out the assistance, which is very hard and can be very scary. So yeah, Michelle, if those of you guys watching have, they're like, who's Michelle? She actually did get to make a fun appearance on our award show at the end of last year, where The Color of Always was nominated for an award with her and Brent Fisher. But she's wonderful. She's a part of the neighborhood as well. So I'm so glad. It makes me so happy to see like all these neighbors like working together. Like I'm so happy for you all.
Well, we're going to be working on a lot of more stuff together in the future as well.
Yes. I'm taking that as a real hint.
Yeah, me, Dennis, and Michelle, we have some stuff cooking up as well for the future.
Yes. See, it's called Cooking with Creatives for a reason. There's live cooking happening, everybody.
Yes.
Maybe one day I'll actually like be cooking when I do an interview, and you guys have to put up with me like burning myself while I cook.
That is a brilliant idea. I would love to cook live. I love cooking.
Honestly, we should try it. We should like try it on Instagram Live or something sometime. I'm in.
What does Selena Gomez have over us?
Dennis, did you? It sounds like Michelle had so much input and really helped so much with the writing and things like that. Did you work with her all? Did she help any with the art itself?
Well, I gotta be honest here. No, we just I'm kind of the type of person that really wants to finish stuff first and then send it over, which I don't suppose everybody, every creator would like. But so I'm like, okay, so I've been working on this for weeks and weeks, and here you go. And all the response I got from both of these guys was, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Michelle didn't really have any space to like give any input. The work was just brilliant. Like every time I would send her the page, she'd be like, "I'm sobbing, I'm crying, I'm obsessed. I love Dennis." Like that was every comment that she ever made about the book.
No, absolutely. I'm the same way. I mean, that's me with ANAS's work anyway. Like I'm sobbing, I'm crying every single time, and every single time you act shocked, but it will never change. It will only get better / worse. I just know it. But like Dennis, your art again, it is amazing. I really think this book, if it hasn't already, I think it's going to also put you on the map along with the rest of this creative team that's not already on it, because I mean, this is some of the best of the best, like literal top shelf. Like there are, established artists that I think are great, but I think even with some established artists, you top them in my mind. Like this is mind blowing. And it's your first like comic, right? This is your first like published comic.
Yeah.
That's insane. Like that's insane. Like a huge congrats. I think this is going to be blown out of the water for all of you guys. Is there anything else before we talk about the FOC day and the release date and all that good stuff? Is there anything else about this project you guys wanted to share?
Well, Dennis wanted to talk about Ultra Life.
Oh, do I now?
You said we could talk about Ultralife in the chat.
I meant like in 2 months.
So do you not want to talk about Ultralife?
Sure, but I need to start work first. So. Yeah,
Okay.
that's our next project coming up. But I don't want to spill the beans and spoil everything. But we're gonna be working on a new book together. And
Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, very different.
It's
very different.
It's our first miniseries.
Yay!
Yep, 5 issues, but it's an anthology, so each issue is basically a one-shot. But they do exist in the same realm, and there is interconnectivity between the issues. So in a sense that there are a couple of stories that are intertwined with the characters, and you'll be able to see that when you read the full thing. Working on it with Dennis and Michelle and a very brilliant artist called Tench. You might be familiar with her work from Color of Always as well. And Swat Cow soon. Yeah, it's 5 stories. They all exist in a world where reality has been confirmed to be a simulation. So it's sci-fi. It's very dark. It's very depressing.
That's on brand. I love it. I'm ready. Take my crying gay money.
Yeah, basically every story is going to follow a certain set of characters as they, and how they deal with this revelation. And some of them take place basically in the day of this revelation. And some of them take place decades after, where basically humanity has crumbled and fallen to pieces, and only small, bits of society remain. And nature has basically overtaken the planet again. So we have really exciting stories to tell in this world. I'm very excited about it. It's an idea I've been cooking since like 2018, and it was actually supposed to be the first project I worked with Dennis on. Like when I first pitched him, I pitched him Ultralife. And then it just was in the stars for us to work on Etheris first. And now we're finally going to be tackling Ultralife. And I cannot freaking wait for this to be out. It's my favorite thing I've ever written.
That's so exciting. I feel like I'm just having a collection at this point. Like I'm going to have a whole bookshelf that's just for y'all's projects.
Yes,
oh, God, one can hope.
That is the goal.
I'll be sure to take pictures and send them to you and say, use it, free marketing. You don't got to pay me a thing.
Please, yes.
Well, awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, there you go, neighbors. You guys got the exclusive on their next project, even after the one we're still waiting on. So the train doesn't stop. You're getting everything. I don't know what more you all want as wonderful fans. The FOC date for Etheris is February 28th, right? Did I get that right?
Yeah. It's the last day of the month.
Yep, there's no 30 and no 31st in February, y'all. Don't get fooled.
So make sure you get it before the month ends.
Yes, please.
Yep, tell your shops or call them, whatever you want to do. And make sure they know by February 28th. If you are newer and you're like, LCS has scared the crap out of me, let us know. Come join the Discord. We'll help you out. We'll connect you to LCS and make sure it gets ordered. There is no reason for you not to get this great book. It will happen. And the actual release date is March 22nd, which is very, very exciting because that's not a super duper long wait.
Oh my God. It's actually really coming up close, huh? Oh my God.
It's coming.
I'm so nervous.
I know. Dennis and I were talking about that before we aired as well. It's just like, I remember hearing about this project last year sometime. I was like, cool, that's probably going to be a while. And now I'm like, that's like a month. Like,
yeah, I've been teasing this book
I've got
for a while. I started teasing this back in like late 2020. Gosh, early 2022, because I thought it was going to come out that year. Like in my mind, I was like, this is a 2022 book. And here we are now.
You were like, I am the printer. It will come out this year.
Yes.
And then SourcePoint said, actually,
stuff like that. Stuff just work out in different ways. But I'm glad the book's coming out so soon. It's incredibly exciting, and please order it. It's available in previews and Diamond and Lunar distribution if your shop works with that. And if you don't use an LCS, it's going to be it's already up on every major online retailer, like Things from Another World. And so please order it. We would really appreciate it. Pre-orders matter the most for indie comics, because if you let your shop know that, you know, this is a book you're interested in, they might be more swayed and more convinced to actually order extra copies for their shelves. So getting our book into shelves, into people's hands is the most important thing, and we would really appreciate the support.
We would really appreciate the support.
And you know what? Steven in the chat has pre-ordered
Thank
it. Thank you,
you.
Steve. You're
Thank
an
you,
icon.
Steven.
Everybody follow
It's
Steven's
one.
Steven is a model neighbor. So yeah, thank you so much, Steven. And thank you guys for being on. Any last things you wanted to say before we get out of here today? Plug yourself, plug where you hang out on social media, whatever you want.
Dennis?
Oh, well, you know, find me on using the handle that you can see over there. It's just my name. Find me on Instagram and Twitter. I have a lot of stuff going on right now. Pretty busy. I'm gonna be doing comics for the rest of my life, I hope. And sometimes I make other stuff too, like commissions, or funny drawings.
When the time allows it.
When the time allows it, which it doesn't. And you know, please pre-order our book. It's very important. For the I'm a European guy. If you do not know where to get the comic book, feel free to get in touch with me. I know all the addresses where you can get it. And that's it for me.
Sweet.
Yeah, and you can find me also at the username here. And yeah, we have Ethers coming out. We have Ultralife in the future, and I have a couple of Kickstarters brewing up right now as well. So I have a very big year ahead of me, hopefully, if all the stars align. And you know, I just want to give a shout out to Lauren and the Friendly Neighborhood, because you are a beacon in this community. You know, you have no idea how much I enjoy talking to you. Like, this is my most anticipated thing. We've done podcasts, but I just love you so much. It's always a pleasure to be here, and you're such a light. You're just like a bright light. So thank you.
No, thank you so much. It's nice to hear it. That's what it's for, you know, and I think, you know, you all as creators being so willing and wonderful, and having all our, you know, nerdy neighbors, the fans. I think just, you know, everybody being willing to kind of connect and come together and, you know, try to communicate. And even just having fun in Discord and the memes I'm seeing people throw in there. I think it's great to have everybody in one place as much as they're comfortable. So thank you guys. I am so excited for this book. Again, guys, the FOC day is February 28th. So order it by that day, if not before. And it comes out March 22nd. So, you know, be ready to bang on the door 8 a.m. March 22nd at your LCS. Be their favorite 8 a.m.ers if you can. And without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching. Join the Discord, the links below. They've also got the links for their social media, at least the Twitter ones. And I know I've got the link for Ethers in the previews world. So check that out if you need that link as well. And otherwise, thank you guys so much. And we'll see you next time in the Nerdy Neighborhood.